Real stories, real healing, real heart. Body Banter's where the conversations start. From illness to resilience, we're sharing it all. The Body Banter podcast, answer the call.
Welcome to the Body Banter. And last week we had a stunning show where we talked to Mr. John Green, who is a clinical hypnotherapist, and he has treated many people with narcissism, because we spoke about that last week. Had no comments, which is a bit unusual. Some comments would be nice. We thank you for watching, and the show's got a quite a significant score, 1,500 views. So we'll have to put more shorts on. So welcome to the Body Banter. John W. Green with us. And today we're going to talk about something that is people don't really want to talk about. And I think that's the problem, because on the Body Banter, we're not experts, we're not doctors, we're not giving you factual advice. We're having purely a chin wag on what we feel is right. And John has more experience than my good self. So just bear that in mind. So first of all, before we introduce John, suicide is a significant public health issue in the United Kingdom, with men accounting for approximately 75% of all suicidal deaths, making it the leading cause of death in men under 50. That's quite high. Now, the key statistics, the high rates in 2023, there were 7,055 registered suicides in the UK, averaging about 19 suicides a day. Now, that's just, it's not something you see on the news. These are stats, and you can find these on YouTube yourself. Among these, 1,069 occurred in England and Wales, making it the highest rate since 1999. The graphics, the suicide rate for men in England and Wales was 17.6%, 100,000 in 2024, the highest rate observed in men aged 50 to 54. Regional variations, the northeast of England was the highest male suicide rate, while London had the lowest. So, over to John Green, and let's talk about societal pressures with you, John. You've got a lot of experience in this, being a clinical therapist, and last week your talk on narcissism was very interesting. Welcome, John.
Hello again, Sean. It's nice to see you again.
Yeah.
What's the weather like in Thailand? Is it hot?
Thailand, it's hot feeling, hot.
That's your theme tune from now on.
Yeah, well.
I've got a bit of a frog in my throat, so I might hear me clear my throat a few times, so do excuse me. But social pressures, I personally have had quite a few friends who have taken their own lives, and it's very sad. And the thing is, the reasons they did that was well known. It was quite known. It was relationship problems, and that covered with mental health problems doesn't really help the situation. So it's not just the one thing. It's a domino effect. So they may be in a relationship where it's on and off, and then it goes for a long period off, and they really want it back on. But the reason why it's off is because this person has some form of mental disorder. As it could be bipolar, it could be PTSD, it could be any form of mental disorder, and they don't know where to turn. And so what they do is they think, this is it. I'm the one that's the problem. I'm going to remove myself from the equation. And it's such a shame, because all they need to do is reach out to somebody like me, or to even a friend who will recommend a counsellor, someone to talk to. But unfortunately, in this day and age, especially with the advent of social media, there's things that they would never have normally seen in the olden days, and it wouldn't affect them. You know, what the eye doesn't see, the heart can't grieve about type of thing. But the eye can see it now, and it's there right in front of people. And it's causing a lot of mental disturbances. That's all I can say, really. It's pretty bad. I've been fortunate enough to be able to have helped a few people that have reached out, but they didn't reach out themselves. Their friends contacted me. I mean, I'm in Hull in England, and one of this young lady who was at the time living in, I think she was, New Zealand. She was living in New Zealand. she contacted me. She said, "Oh, I've heard about you. Could you get in touch with my friend? I'm really worried about her. She's very depressed. She wants to end it all, blah, blah." And I said, "Yeah, of course I'll contact her. Give me her details." And I reached out to her. She didn't know me from Adam, but I managed to talk to her, and she actually came to my house, sat her down, and we talked and talked and talked. And then I hypnotized her into a very light trance to input the positive, to remove the negative and input the positive. Now, that particular person has agreed to come on here and do an interview. So she's a bit busy at the moment. She's got a lot on, but she will come and talk about what I did for her. But it's not what I did for her. It's what her friend did for her to get me involved in the first place. Had that not have happened, I don't know where this lady would be at the moment. I won't say her name right now, but we will meet her. She's lovely. And she wrote me a nice little write-up on one of my Facebook pages about depression. And she wrote a lovely thing saying it wasn't for you, I won't be here, blah, blah. And it was lovely. I just wish that my other friends who have done the West, I wish they'd have reached out, and they never.
Well, John, that's proof that sometimes some people just need talking to, because a lot of people are on their own. They don't share anything with anybody. You know, if, for example, you go to the doctor now and say, "Doctor, I need your help. I'm going to kill myself," what would the doctor do?
Prescribe antidepressants, prescribe you go see one of the counsellors, and you fill in the same form. It's exactly the same form that they fill in. And I have people who I see, and they say, "Oh, I've been to one of these counsellors," and you fill you a form in, and it's the same questions every single time, and it's ticking boxes off, as she said. And then when you sit in front of them, they're just picking the nails or just looking at the floor. They're not interacting like they should be. I'm not saying that this is what happens every single time. I'm telling you what happened to the people that come to see me. They're the ones that I've actually genuinely helped. And I have quite a lot of methods in the world of hypnosis that does help, using NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. There's all types of different things you can instill. But if they've got things like chronic pain and it's overwhelming, so one of the things that they want to do is just get off the ride, disappear. I've had enough on this ride. I want to get off. And the pain is so bad that they can't manage it anymore. And then there's one thing I can do is actually change the pain into heat. We're using hypnosis. And the difference it makes, it's phenomenal. The more painful it is, the hotter it gets. The least painful, the warmer it gets. So then suddenly, instead of it feeling painful, they're just feeling heat in the hands or in wherever the pain is. I change it to heat, and it just changes the whole mindset. It makes them feel, there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train. So there's things that we can do, but they need to come to us. They need to speak to us. There's hypnotists all over the world who can do this.
Well, I think, the biggest scare, people don't want to admit that they're lonely. They don't tell anybody. It's such a scare factor. I'm going to kill myself. It's such a dramatic statement that people don't want to use it, and I can understand it. I'm going to take you back, John, to, about this. Many years ago, I was on a cruise ship with a girlfriend. She was my girlfriend. We was in a duo, and we was cruising. And it's quite a stressful thing because you're entertaining on a night, and then all the day you've got to yourself. And if you're not going on, there's very little you can do on a cruise ship apart from go sit in the sun, go get pissed in the bar. Try and talk to guests that sometimes really don't want to talk to you. It's very, very difficult. And then one night, the inevitable happened. My girlfriend wasn't there, and I wondered where she was. And somebody told me the bosun. She's in the bosun's room in his cabin. And I went and listened at the door. And I was knocking at the door and shouting and everything. I was so irate, John. I don't know what gave me this strength, but it just like, I don't know. I must have loved her because, all I wanted to do was really either jump off the ship or just try and hang myself at the top. And I tried it. And like you said, there must have been something inside that stopped me doing it. So I have been there, and I can imagine thousands of other people have too. And it's not a nice feeling. I drank a bottle of vodka. I don't drink. I would drink a bottle of vodka. Went to the top of the ship, tried to hang myself, and I was just crying. And I come down, and I was out my head, drunk, laid in my cabin, and woke up the next day full of sick. And I just decided, right, that's me. Get off the boat. I can't work with this girl anymore, and off I went, and it changed my life. So you've really got to. I don't know, John. You've got to tell people. And I don't think I've ever told anybody this. Nobody ever knows. So, if my friends see this, they're going to probably be a bit, never knew that. I can talk to you and I can talk to the people because I've experienced it. And you have, John. You've got friends that have taken their own life. Now, mental health stigma. A club in Hull called the Andy's Man Club. And I'd like you to talk about that. Before we do, John, also in Hull, and I don't know if it's national or not, there is a landline, a call called the Samaritans. Is that national or is it just in Hull, John? The Samaritans.
No, the Samaritans. Oh, it's international. It's ring the Samaritans up. There's somebody at the end of a phone, and they will listen, and they'll add input, but not over add input. They just listen, and then they can direct you to the right path, which way to go, who to speak to, etc. Telephone numbers and help. And if it's really bad, they'll literally send help for you. This is how they work, but they are very, very good. As regards to Andy's Man Club, what I'd like to do, if you don't mind, is I have a friend of mine called Steve Foley, and he's an ambassador for Andy's Man Club, and I'd like to invite him to come on to the next pod if I can. He's just in between addresses. I think he's had a bit of an upset, something going on, but he's found himself somewhere to live now. And he does so well for Andy's Man Club. It's a place where men who are men's men, that they don't want to talk because men don't talk about these things. Men don't cry. Men don't, And this is where they once they've met these people and they've met like-minded people, they help each other and they give each other strength to, it's not a bad thing to cry. It's not a bad thing to feel lonely. Isolation and feeling lonely and being misunderstood, you feel like you're a burden to others.
Yes.
And when you start feeling you're a burden, what's the next step? Well, I ain't going nowhere. My life sucks. What I don't know what. Just because you can't think of what you're going to do next doesn't mean the next thing isn't coming. Because the next thing's always on its way. You just have to wait. It's like the train, The analogy what I give, it's a bus. You're waiting an hour for a bus, and what happens? Three buses come. This is what happens in life. You're going to get all these opportunities, but you'll think this is the end of it all, and it really isn't. There's more.
Do you know what? Do you know what, John? I cried my eyes out, and I think it releases the endorphins.
It's a valve. It's a release valve.
So
do you know what? When you're feeling down, you have a massive cry. I mean, one of these where your throat feels it's closing up, you cry, let the tears flood out, then go to sleep.
Really?
Go to sleep. And if you've got anything on your mind, write it down. So it's not in your mind anymore. You don't have to remember anything. It's just gone. It's on paper. You think, my head's completely clear now. I need to sleep. When you're sleeping, it's repairing. And also, your subconscious is reorganizing all these negatives into some form of order, which at the end of it will give you a bit of a positive. And you think, if you can make something good out of a bad, then you're on the right track. Get a hobby. Change how you feel in your mind. Substance abuse is another thing as well. If you're on substance abuse, you what they call chasing the dragon. The first time they have a high, they think, oh, it's fantastic and it's up here. And then the next time they do it, it's not quite that high. They think, oh, I'll do another one. I might just get that high. I'll do another one. And then it's just getting low. You'll never reach that high ever again. And this is the addiction. And there's the dragon. You're chasing the dragon. You need to stop, cut it out.
It's the same as alcohol, John.
Yes, exactly. Well, there is a survey was done, and it found that a lot of people who are taking drugs, drug abuse, etc., they're on the streets. because they've families have kicked them out and they're on the streets. And what they found is, if they're taken off the street and put into rehab, let's just send them back in again, and they'll go straight back onto the drugs. Well, and they'll get all the negative, turkey, cold turkey, all this sort of thing. They get everything what goes with it. Now, if a member of the family sees them on the street, takes them in the fold, puts them back in the family, they don't get withdrawals because they've got the love of the family. They've got the support of the family. And the addiction, they don't get cold turkey. They don't, none of that, because they've got the love of the family, the support of the family. And that's the difference between stuck into the circuit sort of thing and then slung back into the street again. You're just going to go back on it. Put into a family fold, there's no negatives. And that's the difference between, they should be showing them a bit more compassion. There's no empathy there. It's get in there, go around the full circle, come back out, it's stick you on the street again. And this is where the suicide rate comes as well, because they know they can't stop it. And it's a shame. It's such a shame, because it's a drug. And people say, well, the drug is there, let them go. But it's an illness. They've made an illness, and it needs to be cured. It can be cured, but it needs love. It needs compassion. It needs empathy.
You're right. John, in my opinion, nothing on this earth is worth taking your life for. Because as you say, in life, we go through peaks and troughs. We go through great times, and we also go through some very bad times when we lose a family, lose a job, turn to alcohol, something happens dramatically that they decide life's not worth living. One of those is economic stress. Now, at the moment, we're living in a world that is economically terrible. The economy is dire. Everything's going up in price in food. You only have to look at the tax situation. You're taxed on everything. It's hard to get, if you're a sole man, it's hard to get somewhere to live. If your wife kicks you out, the government really don't want to help you. They want to help the immigrants. How do you think you feel in that situation?
Well, if nobody wants to help you, you're just like, you might as well be stuck in the middle of a field and with no food, no water, and no tent, and just be fending for yourself. You're going to be isolated and alone. What's the next thing? No longer be here anymore, because there's nowhere to turn. People, they need places to turn to, people to turn to. And I don't know if people who are watching this they'll be in different parts of the world, America, Canada, UK, etc. But if you're having a problem, you can call or text 988. That's in the US and Canada. Or in the UK, it's 111, and it's a crisis line. Just bring it up and speak to someone. Just reach out. You're not a burden to anybody. You're not going to be in anybody's way. You're doing the right thing. You're allowing these people that are there waiting to help you to do the job, and you'll be pleased to do it. And here's a good thing: you become an ambassador for it after a while, and you think it does work, and then you start to reach out to help other people, and it's a knock-on effect. It's a pass it on. It really does work.
There's a lot of do-gooders, and especially in England, there's a lot like yourself. You'll go out your way to help people, no matter what. No, it doesn't matter whether they're financially difficult, whether they've been kicked out, whether they've gone through a divorce, whether they're just feeling lonely. John, you're always there for people like that, and I think sometimes having somebody like you who can talk about things, who has experienced it, is a massive relief. It's like a valve, somebody's listening to me, because half the time, you're right, not a lot of people listen to you. I've seen people on the street, I'm going to kill myself. And somebody said, well, go hurry up, go do it. That's not the right attitude to take.
Last night, perfect example, last night. A lot of people don't know, but I'm an entertainer. I work in the pubs and the clubs as well. And there was a young lady, and she was crying outside. I was unloading my gear, loading my car back in, and she was crying. And I said, what's the matter? She said, I've just asked that taxi driver what the time is. And she's got a smartwatch on, right? I've just asked the taxi driver what the time is. And he said, you've got a watch on. Are you stupid? She went, I don't know how to tell the time. I can't read and write. And she was crying. She went, there's no point me being here anymore. And she ran across the other side of the car park. And I said, come here, I need to talk to you. She went, no, leave me alone. I said, come here. I said, do you want a hug? And she went, yeah. I gave her a hug. So all she needed was a hug. And she started crying and she went, you know what's wrong with me, don't you? I went, well, in a way, yeah. And I know you're very down and you're at the end of your rope. She's got my phone number now. She's going to give me a ring. I've got her number because I had to make my phone ring to load her number up. So if she doesn't ring me, I'll message her to see how she is. But I'm constantly talking to people who I know are very down. I can be on the phone texting and doing FaceTime at 3:00 in the morning, just to make sure that people are all right. Oh, I know, or not on the same level as you and I, bipolar people and this sort of thing, they don't like it. So, depression, and some are physical. They're dealing with like physical suffering, like terminal diagnosis and stuff. I've got people who have got the big C, and they don't know how to cope with it. They're very depressed, and then they want to go to Sweden to go and finish it all off. And I'm saying, hang fire. There's some brilliant new drugs coming out at the moment. You could be the next one to be tested. Just hang fire. Just stop giving up. This is what they need to do. Stop giving up.
The biggest one for me, John, is, and I think a lot of male men take their life when they've lost the job, they come home, and then they lose their wife as well, and the family. Let's say you've got two lovely kids, and you've had a great relationship, you've got a house, you've got hardly any mortgage, and you just, when you're used to, let's say you've been somebody special, like owner of a business or a managing director or a manager in a superstore, and you come home, they say the supermarket's closed or they've cut down, I've lost my job, and you've been working there 20 years and you think your life's ended, I'm never going to get another job. And then your wife says, well, I've had enough of you anyway, I want you out. That is like sticking a knife in your back.
It's called kicking you when you're down. That's what it is, kicking you when you are down. So
How do you overcome that?
How? It is akin to a bereavement, and another reason why people unalive themselves is because of bereavement. They've lost a loved one, maybe a parent or something, or they were so close to. They feel that now they've gone, I don't have anyone to turn to. Nobody wants me. Only they knew me. Blah blah. And in fact, you'll find that there's a new way of making this close relationship with other people. You're going to find you must have a best friend somewhere, someone who you don't see for 2 years, but when you do see him, it's like as though you was there the day before. Everyone has somebody like that, even from school. Reach out to old friends. Start to get a community back again in your life, to chatting, and it takes your mind away from things. Just chat about the loss of your loved one. People say to me, Dad just died, but I don't know what to say to her. I said, well, walk up to say, how are you feeling? Are you coping okay since the death of your father? Be open. This is what they want. They don't want you to cold shoulder them because someone's died. That isolates them. You need to bring them in and say, look, we understand how you feel. And then if you've experienced it, talk about your experiences. So it brings them out. And the more they talk, the easier it becomes. They're desensitized to that situation, and they'll appreciate you being honest, as opposed to, oh, I can't talk to her because I don't know what to say to her. Dad just died. Well, talk. That's all you got to do, talking.
John, don't you think the world is becoming a selfish place too? People are just like too interested in themselves. They're not listening to other people.
Well, I've noticed something years ago. There was you saw videos of someone in New York who just been shot and laid on the path, on a pedestrian way, and people just walking past that dead body, just walking past it and carrying on the life, ignoring it completely. This is what social media is making us do now. There's no empathy. People just laugh at death. They laugh at people's misery. They make jokes about it. And the ones who are having the jokes about it are the ones that are going to finish up, taking their own lives. And luckily, there are people who can help them overcome that. And we call these horrible people keyboard warriors. And these keyboard warriors now can be arrested. And they are being arrested. And they're getting 6 months in jail just for doing these horrible things to people. And I'm glad they should get more than 6 months.
not everybody's like you, John. You've got a patience of a devil, and some people can't talk to some people. They don't want to know, you know. Like, for example, there's nothing worse than going to your best friend and saying, I feel suicidal. Oh, go get a few beers, go get pissed. That's not the right answer. You know, some people just don't know how to approach it. It's like when somebody dies, what do you say? Oh, I'm sorry to hear. Or, a lot of people don't know what to say. They don't know what to write on a card, even. You know, it's one of the, we're in a world where it's very difficult sometimes to find the right meaning.
Now, there is a little saying that most clinical therapists use just to get people to open up. And they'll be sat there and they'll say, what's the reason you're here? Well, I don't know what's up with me. Ever since this happened, ever since that happened, I'm feeling like this. And then all I do is just say this one little line, and everybody should say this to their friend or the pastor was like it. Just say, so how does it make you feel? And it just pours out. They don't know about someone's going to talk about the feelings. They're just talking about the person and the brick wall that they've built up. As soon as you say, "But how does this make you feel?" the brick wall just crumbles, and then they start talking. They get upset. I have boxes of tissues next to them because I know they're going to cry. Once they start crying, I can get past that barrier. And then I can start to talk about the good stuff, the positive stuff, the better, the good endings. And I can give them so many good examples that they've never even heard of before. And I think, well, if they could do it, I can do it. And then I even sometimes I get permission to introduce them to the people who was there in that seat before them. And it's like a little mini community, do you know what I mean? So, and Andy's Man Club, like you said, they are like very similar. They're a little community, what they built up, and it's a charity as well now. So we'll get my friend Steve on, and we'll have a chat with him because he's a lovely lad, and he's an ambassador for him.
Great, that'll be a great continuation of this because he's seen some of the, the real statistics of it happening. What I'd like to be interested in seeing with Andy's Man Club is that, he's probably saved thousands, but there's thousands he hasn't, or he's tried to, and it just hasn't come over. Because I think once you're in that deep state depression and you're intent on killing yourself because you got no way out of something, it's very difficult. Let's say, for example, you've been to court and you've been released, and you're going to be classed as a paedophile, and you don't want to go to prison. What's the next best thing for them? To take their own life.
Well, as regards to the paedophilia, there's help there for people like that.
Yes.
And it's a subject that I won't touch.
Me too.
Pedophiles. I won't go near them. And there's also certain people who are on certain types of drugs that they come to me because the family sent them to me, but they're only doing it to shut the family up. They don't want to stop. They lie, absolutely lie. They lie and cheat and thief just to get by in life. And when they sit in front of me, and I'll hypnotize them to a point where they can't lie.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, do you really want to be here? They go, no, not really. And I go, and I wake them up and say, right, go, the door's over there, go. And go get proper help. When you're ready, you will ask for the help. But at the moment, you're only here because your family want you to be here. And you don't want to be here. So you're just doing it to shut your family up. And that's not the right reasons. They need to be determined to want to do it. Otherwise, they won't accept the help. I know a couple of people, and one of them, they won't accept the help. And they pretend that they do, but they're not. They don't do it.
Let's just say that people are watching this now, and they're sat there, and the thing is just what I need to listen to these two guys talking about it. And I feel suicidal. What am I going to do? And what's the first step somebody should do? Call the Samaritans, go to the doctor, try to talk to a family. What's the best thing, John?
All of those, actually, whichever one comes to mind. The first one that comes to mind, reach out, go to that one. The doctor. A doctor is just all a doctor is. No disrespect to doctors at all. They're an intermediary. They're just somewhere to go, so the doctor knows where to send you. Right. Yes. That's it. A triage is what it's called. So the doctor is mainly a triage. But on some occasions, the doctor says, oh, well, I can prescribe that for you. And there you go. prescription's gone through the computer and it's now in the chemist. Go pick that up. But there's certain things like the mental side of things. The doctor's not going to sit there and work with you on the mental side. It is more like the physical and the inside your internal workings. But the mental side, he has to then advise you to go to certain people. So he'll have a lot of contacts, obviously, but mainly they're the local council run things, and they give you a form to fill in, and it takes a long time. One of my clients, an elderly lady, she's 84, and she suffers from chronic pain, and she's been suicidal. I don't charge her. I go to see her for free. Because I have a sliding scale, and it's not about money; it's about helping people at the end of the day. But then we've got bills to pay. Sometimes it is about money. We can't do it for free. I go see her, and she says, "Oh, well, my doctor sent me to the same place again to fill the same form in again." And she said, "It's just ridiculous." She said, "The form doesn't mean anything. It's not. It doesn't mean." And he talked to the counsellor, and the counsellor just doodling on a piece of paper and just letting you talk. And they're not interjecting, whereas I interject. You know what I mean? And there's a therapy where you interrupt them quite a lot, and you interrupt them. So when they're at a peak where they're so down that they just want to finish it all, and I'll just say, "Well, how does it make you feel?" And once they start talking, I'll stop about that. Yeah, but what? Oh, just a minute. Yeah, contact. How does it make you feel? And they go, "Oh, wait a minute." And I'll interrupt them a few times. When you interrupt them a few times, the level of that anxiety comes right down because they're forgetting what they're about to say, and you remove it. Then we can go in there with the positive stuff and start to bring the good stuff out. What was your upbringing like? Oh, well, it was all right. Or if it wasn't all right, that's where I can work on. I can work on whatever they tell me. And then I look at where their eye movements are. So if they move to the left or the right or move up and down, I know how they're recalling memory. So then I'll start to talk in the way that their eye movements are. So if they do if they move if they move right to the left, for instance, and I say to them, "How does it make you feel?" Then suddenly their eyes go to the left. I think, "Oh, there we go." So I'll start talking in relation to feeling. And I'll just say, "Well, it makes you feel this." So when you're feeling like this, and then if somebody moves around another different way, I'm thinking, look, smells for some reason. They've got olfactory, which is the nose. Well, what certain smells trigger off these things, and it brings back all the good stuff, and then we can start to interject, change the mindset round. By the time they've left me on the first therapy, I've got the subconscious is processing everything that's been said to them, and it's putting it into a better organized way for them to be able to manage, really. And then the next time they come to see me, they're not nervous anymore. They can't wait to be put down into that mild trance because they feel like they've been on a fortnight's holiday in 45 minutes.
I think what we're trying to get over here, to people that feel that way, there's nothing in this world worth taking your own life, and there's plenty of prevention and support. So when you're feeling down and the last thing you want to do is probably ring somebody up or go to the doctors. I mean, there is a barrier with the doctor, John, is you've got to get through the receptionist. Hello, is it urgent? Well, yeah, I'm going to kill myself. Well, I think you need to go to ring the Samaritans. It's very difficult to get an appointment with a doctor, when you're feeling like that. And you've got to get past the secretary. So I suppose that would also, for me, if I was in a deep depressive state, that would also make me feel unwanted. There's got to be better ways of support than a doctor, So I think really it leaves the Samaritans and the health. Can you walk into a doctor's and request help?
Yeah, well, there's obviously the telephone numbers. There's also video calls now and stuff. But we have a thing in Hull called Mind.
Oh.
And you go into Mind, and there's people there who deal with this every single day.
Wow.
And they have all the different things that can help you and point in the right direction. But they can do it under the same roof as well. They can help you there. A lot of people enjoy going there, and they can have a cup of tea and have a little sit down, have a little chat, start talking about the everyday things that bother them. and put things into perspective. But not only that, but they lighten their own load as well. You know, talking lightens the load, and talking to a stranger it can really lighten the load, because that person's going to walk away and think, "Oh, on earth are you?" But you're going to think, "I feel I feel a lot better now." You know, just 'cause I've talked about it. But there is that
Yeah.
these relationship issues, breakups, divorces, death of a loved one. There's all sorts of different things that put the people on that edge of the cliff. You know, they just want to jump off. But step back and just look at what's over that hill. There's a green pastures, there's a sunshine, we are put on this earth to go up and down and up and down and up and down. We have to deal with the ups and downs. If it was like that, it would be boring. It would be the most boring life. We need these ups and downs. I mean, myself personally, I've been through really bad times where I'm thinking, well, what is it? What's at the end of this? But I say to myself, I know what I'll do. I'll find out what's at the end. I'll just hang on and see what happens. Suddenly, nice things go on. You know, the three
Yeah.
buses come at once type thing. You know, it's just
Yeah.
nice. And it's just nice to just hold on, wait that little bit. And if it's somebody in the bad relationship, I know it's going to hurt you, it's going to make you rip inside, but pull away from that, because
Yeah.
you're like a magnet and you keep pulling yourself towards this negative. And you might be pulling yourself towards a narcissist, which is what we talked about before.
Yeah.
Narcissists love to make you feel so bad that you want to end it, and they love it. And if you do end it, they go, ha, 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 that was a good one. I'll get my next victim now. Don't
Yeah.
be a victim to people. Pull away from that negativity. I have a thing. I don't like negative people around me, but I
No.
help negative people for the right reasons. The negative people I don't like are the ones who are narcissistic and they're very horrible,
Well,
and they take the mickey out of people who are down, and they like to kick people while they're down. If they'll see somebody on the street and they'll say, "Have you got any money for a sandwich?" And they go, "Yeah, I've got loads of money," and walk away. Oh, the worst one. They will give them money, but wait a minute while I get my camera. I need to film this so I can show all my friends how nice I am. Now I'll give you a pound. There you go. Let me film him. Get close up for that pound. There, I'll give you a pound. Those people, they just need removing off the entire internet, because the nuisances, just self-centered, egotistical twats.
That's your anger side coming out.
Yeah.
It is. Just before we finish, I just want to really state something here. We are not doctors. We're not mental health specialists. We are just two gentlemen that have had a lot of life and experience about life. And John's had a lot of experience, as you can hear from his speaking. So please don't take everything we say as 100%. But I do want to say this. If you don't know what to say to some people who may be wanting to take their own life, there are things you can say. Acknowledge their pain with judgment. I'm really sorry you're feeling this much pain. What you're going through sounds incredibly hard. Let them know they're not alone. You don't have to go through this by yourself. I'm here with you right now. These are the things you'd do, John. Encourage them to talk. If you want to tell me what's going on, I'm here to listen. You deserve to be heard. And finally, validate their feelings. It makes sense that you're overwhelmed. Anyone in your situation will be struggling. And I think those are words to encourage, not discourage, because a lot of people, like I say, don't know what to say. So I hope them words of encouragement has helped you, and I'll put those online as well. So last words from John.
Reach out, speak to people, don't sit there alone. And if you've got something bothering you, just tell someone. On Google, there are loads and loads and loads of people that can help you. Just type in, "I need help. I am feeling like I don't want to be here anymore." And you will get numbers galore just popping up on there. But be careful. Some of them are scammers. They're just after money. So just be careful. Look at the reviews on Trustpilot and see if they've got any ones or whatever. If they get a lot of ones, ignore those. Get the fives. They're okay.
What about if you don't have access to internet, John? What happens if you don't have a phone, you're that desperate you don't have money? What would you suggest?
Well, if you don't have a phone, you're not on the internet, and then you've decreased your anxiety by about 75% already, because you're walking around. It's the old saying, look at all this bad news we hear. What can I do about it? And there's a picture of a man turning the TV off. Switch it off. Switch off,
Yeah.
and don't listen to negative stuff. Turn it all off. The ones without all of that, I think you are the luckiest people ever. And yeah, definitely. And also, if you haven't got all that, I can't give them any advice, because they won't be able to hear what I say anyway.
Well, never a true word spoken. So on behalf of John and myself at the Body Banter, we spend our time bringing it to you to enjoy your time, so you can understand what the world's going through and maybe shed a light on some things that we talk about. Last week was narcissism. This week is somebody wanted to say, I don't like the word suicidal, take their own life. And next week we'll have a continuation with Andy's Man Club, hopefully. So I look forward to that. On behalf of myself at the Showcase, please keep watching and sharing. If you know anybody with these anxiety, these feelings of despair, ask them to watch this video. Tell us where you're from. Leave us a message. We'll get back to you. Thank you, John.
You're welcome. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Real stories, real healing, real heart. Body Banter's where the conversations start. From illness to resilience, we're sharing it all. The Body Banter podcast. Answer the call.